world has changed. What we do today will define our tomorrow. We will keep changing how we design, how we choose materials, and how we make our products. We're turning using into reusing and recycling. Already more than half of our materials are recycled, organic, or sustainably sourced.
All natural, chemical-free, clean, green, sustainable, earth-friendly, eco-friendly, non-toxic. You see these terms on practically every item in the store every time you shop, and sometimes you may even be persuaded to choose certain products over others based on them being more green. But how do you know for sure that those terms mean what you think they do? And moreover, how can you be sure that the companies selling you those products are telling the truth in the first place? Enter greenwashing. Greenwashing is defined as the act or practice of making a product, policy, activity, etc. appear to be more environmentally friendly or less environmentally damaging than it really is. The term greenwashing was coined by New York environmentalist Jay Westerveld in a 1986 essay about the hotel industry's practice of placing notices in bedrooms promoting reuse of towels to save the environment. He noted that often, little or no effort toward reducing energy waste was made by these institutions, although towel reuse saved them laundry costs. He concluded that often, the real objective was increased profit, and labeled this and other profitable but ineffective, environmentally conscientious acts as greenwashing.
Greenwashing occurs in basically every industry out there, but one of the places greenwashing shows up the most is in the fast fashion industry. Most fashion brands are addicted to greenwashing, a new report said. Fashion brands greenwash in various ways, from making actually false or misleading claims about their products, or simply failing to be transparent about the environmental effects of their operations. They can claim a product is green by narrowing a set of attributes and hiding the rest, commit to environmental protection without the proof to back it up, or use unverified labels or phrases with no inherent significance, such as 100% green. Some of your favorite brands like H&M, ASOS, Marks & Spencer, Lululemon, Burberry, Primark, Boohoo, Nike, and surprisingly Patagonia are among the worst offenders of greenwashing. One company that has received a significant amount of attention in this area is H&M, the Swedish fashion company known to millions of consumers worldwide. In April of 2019, the company launched its Conscious collection, a line of clothing products that H&M claimed were made from plant-based, sustainable materials and inspired by nature-based designs. This announcement certainly came as welcome news to H&M customers eager to buy fashionable articles of clothing that are less harmful to the environment. But what these customers did not realize at the time was a simple but major problem, that clothing may not be as sustainable as advertised.
Almost immediately, questions began to arise that H&M wasn't exactly selling what it was advertising. Just months after the Conscious collection launched, the Norwegian government's Consumer Protection Agency began raising concerns that H&M had provided insufficient information about its sustainable products and that the company may be engaging in greenwashing. 3 years later, in June 2022, H&M's greenwashing practices were revealed in full view. A major investigative article in the business news website Quartz detailed several blatantly deceptive tactics H&M used in the sale of their Conscious products. One glaring example was the misrepresentations H&M used in its sustainability profiles, environmental scorecards the company featured prominently on its websites alongside products. The sustainability profiles relied on so-called Higg index scores, an evaluation mechanism created by the fashion industry. These scores supposedly take into account how much water and fossil fuels are used in the creation of the fabrics. Notably, the Quartz investigation found that the H&M website ignored the negative signs in the scores and advertised some products as using 20 or 30% less water than typical, when the items were actually made with 20 to 30% more water. Words like less and reduction were hard-coded into H&M's website in a way that scorecards could only offer a positive representation of clothing. In other instances, items were listed as sustainable despite having Higg index scores showing impact values of 0 in all categories. More than half of the scorecards on H&M's website claimed that a piece of clothing was better for the environment when, in fact, it was no more sustainable than comparable garments made by the company and its competitors, the article concluded. In the most egregious cases, H&M showed data that were the exact opposite of reality. About a month after the article's publication, in July 2022, a class action lawsuit, Commodore v. H&M, was filed in federal court in the Southern District of New York, drawing heavily on the potential evidence of greenwashing illuminated by the Quartz report. The lawsuit, filed by lead plaintiff Chelsea Commodore, remains in its earliest stages, but it may prove to be a critical test of the role that the civil justice system can play in holding businesses accountable for greenwashing and consumer advertising.
The growing attention to fast fashion may already be having an impact. Almost immediately after the publication of the Quartz article, the Higgs program was paused and investigated by the Norwegian Consumer Protection Agency, which recently issued new guidance requiring that information provided in the future be clear, concrete, and substantiated.
So, where do we go from here? Tort cases like Commodore v. H&M could significantly change incentives for corporations to be more careful about mislabeling or charging more for products that they shouldn't otherwise. However, tort liability notwithstanding, the temptation to greenwash may still prove too strong to resist without government regulation. Governments have the power to ban corporations from making such claims and to compel them to report their actual GHG emissions reductions. Government agencies like the Federal Trade Commission can also set strict criteria to regulate whether and how specific climate-related claims can be made. Of course, this too may prove a tough ask. Many governments, after all, are also playing fast and loose with their net zero pledges.
Greenwashing is not something that is isolated. It's not that H&M does it and, Nestle does it. It's that almost everybody does it. And the question is, how far do they go? How specific are their representations? But ultimately, wouldn't it be nice if companies were forced to give real accounting of what their supply chains looked like, and that consumers could look at that real information and make decisions based on it?
Greenwashing in the fast fashion industry is just one example of how the system is stacked against the climate and the environment, and stacked against us. We're often told we need to make better choices as individual consumers to save our planet. Don't forget to bring your reusable shopping bag, choose a paper straw instead of plastic, take shorter showers to save water, and remember to turn off the lights. These are important practices to be sure, but in addition to changing our individual conduct, overcoming the inertia of climate change requires a systemic shift in the behavior of corporations, as well as the market forces governing them. Profit optimization needs to replace maximization, and sustainability needs to become a genuine business and societal priority, not just a marketing ploy. Fast fashion needs to change its fully fraudulent ways because we are running out of time to save our planet. Fast.